The water device was recently added in Fortnite Creative, and in this video, I'm going to show you 3 amazing tips and tricks that you guys can do with this device that we definitely couldn't do before. Now, these water tricks will help you make your maps more realistic, more immersive, more unique, and maybe even give you an idea for your next map. Okay, if you remember back a few months ago when I made a video about how to get rain in Fortnite Creative, well, when I made that, the only option was using the spark rain setting in the VFX spawner. Well, since then, they not only added a new rain VFX in the VFX spawner that looks a lot more like actual rain, but it's always been missing something that makes it look super unnatural. When it rains outside, think about what happens on the ground. The rain doesn't just disappear when it hits the ground, it puddles up all over the place, right? Well, when you have rain in Fortnite, not having it puddle up really kills the immersion and it kind of just looks off. But now with the new water device, we can actually make it look super realistic, and it's really simple to actually do. All we need is the new water device, and we're going to set it right here on the ground. Open our settings, and if we set the default fill percentage to something between 1% and 4%, then we set our depth and width to 100 or whatever fits in your map's area that you want the water. Then we're going to see when we start the game that the street has a small buildup from the rain. Everywhere there's a low point, we're going to have a bunch of water, but it doesn't just cover the whole floor in water because that wouldn't look good, only the lowest areas. And we can take this a bit further. If we actually set the height of the water device to 0.5, then we're going to shrink the puddle size down even more, and this allows us to create light rain versus something like a severe thunderstorm. Now we can also go in and add like a sky dome to make the island look dark and stormy, and throw in some storm clouds, and then we can just take the VFX spawner, set it to rain, and place these around our map, and if we start the game, you'll see now the map looks just 100 times more realistic. The storm actually kind of looks incredible. I have another tip with using the VFX spawner. When you guys use the VFX spawner, the size of the device actually does matter. Meaning, if you make the VFX spawner the max size, it will be a different effect than just the regular size. For example, let's just use it with the rain VFX. When I make it max size, look at how spread out the raindrops are. They're spread out and it looks like it's maybe a little more than sprinkling right now. But if we take the same device and don't change a single setting, but this time we just shrink it all the way down and place it down, now look at the rain. It's much more compact and close together, and it looks more like a really bad thunderstorm. This trick, in combination with the water device, allows you to fully customize your maps with realistic storms, from sprinkling to drizzling to super bad to hurricanes. And I bet you guys could take this a step further by adding the new VFX creator device to create custom little splash puddles in the water. Okay, so I actually decided to try and make a custom water splash visual effect to go with this rain, and this is what I came up with. It's not perfect, but the settings for this will be on screen now, so you guys can copy them if you want, but back to the video. So I wanted to test the limits of the water device a bit, and in doing so, I came across a really important issue that you guys definitely need to know about. This isn't so much a trick, just a tip that could save your map. But whatever you do not resize the water device itself to its max size while having it set to width, depth, and height 100, because doing so will actually break your map, especially if you turn the enabled during phase to all. Luckily, I wasn't doing this in a map that I'm currently working on, and I was just testing it in a blank island that I just created, but I'll show you guys exactly what happens because you will lose your island. Basically. So there's no way to fix it right now, at least until Epic fixes this bug, and as you guys can see, I have the water device maxed out. Everything seems fine, at least for now. But if I go ahead and start the game and then end the game, when you come back, you're going to see we're totally screwed. The water is visibly gone, but our character is stuck in this swimming animation, and we're even going to start to lose our health like we're still drowning. You can't pull out your phone, you can't fly away, you can't really move much, and you can't even access your My Island settings to reset or restore your island at all. Now, I tried to respawn, and it just respawned me in the hub, and then I went back in my rift, and once again, I was still underwater and drowning. So I tried to just go all the way back to the lobby, and when I rejoined, nothing changed. So if you're playing with this device, in a map you're currently working on, I really recommend you don't resize this thing using the resize tool at all. Just use the width, depth, and 100, and never set this thing to enabled during phase all, at least until they get this fixed. Viewer discretion is advised. Do not try this at home. But I'm sure this will get fixed eventually, but just wanted to make that clear after giving the tip about resizing the VFX spawner, just in case any of you thought maybe the water device could do the same thing. It can't. Okay, so the last cool thing that I wanted to share with you guys is that you can actually make submarines in creative now. Most of the vehicles will just destroy themselves or push you out of them if you go under the water using the new device for too long, but the UFOs actually allow you to go underwater and will not push you out or drown you. Now, the trick is getting them underwater, and this can be done in one of two ways. The first way is just flying right in the side of a water device, but this way it goes right in and there's no issues whatsoever. However, that looks unrealistic and isn't the best way to do this and isn't really feasible for most maps. So the second way, and much better way to do this, makes it so you actually have to dive down from the top of the water, making it much more submarine-like. To do this, you're going to hold down the descend button and your UFO will begin bobbing up and down, kind of like you can see me doing in the video. But then when you're bobbing, you're going to press the boost button, and this is going to make your boost or your UFO dive down into the water. And this is just an awesome trick. And the other awesome thing about this trick is that the UFO has a unique capability to pick up and move props. Yep, you guys got it. We're talking about the tractor beam. Now, this can make for some super cool submarine maps where you have to I don't know, dive down and find something at the bottom of the ocean, or maybe you're cleaning up a lost shipwreck or something cool like that, maybe a sunken Titanic recovery map or something. It doesn't look exactly like a submarine, but it's the best we've got at this point, and I think it's more than good enough. But you can also have passengers on the UFO too. Maybe you could make a map with people on the edge of the UFO with harpoon guns or something like that, and they're divers, or I don't know. You guys can come up with something, but they will not drown as long as they're on the UFO. Sometimes I forget how amazing this game looks, and this really reminded me how awesome creative is, because it's not every day that you see a map that looks like this, and I made this in 10 minutes, just as an example, but I can't even imagine what it must look like if someone put a lot of time and effort into making it look really, really awesome down here. And the ocean is kind of like a new territory for maps. We don't really see a lot of ocean maps. But when you combine this trick with a bunch of Coral Cove props, some fishing zones, you can actually make some really awesome deep sea exploration type maps. And the fishing zones can be resized to make different sized schools of fish and really make it feel like the ocean. And we are almost to 50,000 subscribers, so double check if you're subscribed to help us get there. And when we do, I'm going to give away 50k V-Bucks over the course of 50 videos. So ring the bell for the best chance to win. Today's member shoutout goes to Squishly. Thank you for joining as a member. Click here to watch my VFX creator tips and tricks, and as always, stay up.